This is the Just Because Buzz. I'm Merritt Crawford. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Sunday, April 13th, 2025, and this is FlossTube number 44 and QuiltyTube number 2. I'm going to combine the two today since my time is a little more scattered as far as time to do these videos. I missed the whole month of March, so I'm so sorry to have waited that long, but it was just how it happened. So thank you for joining me today. It's a beautiful sunny day. It's Palm Sunday, and it's just been a great day so far. We have sunshine, and that's always good. So want to welcome you. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new to my channel, just stumbled across it, I hope you'll find some inspiration and that you will like the video and subscribe. I would love to reach that 2,000 mark soon. That would be great. So just some life updates quickly. I did accept a part-time job with a group here in Somerset that is Somerset Pediatrics and Adolescents, and also Women's Clinic of Lake Cumberland. I am their dietitian, and so I work on Monday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and I do consulting work, or not consulting, but I'm there in person every day of those 3 days, and I get to work with kids and their parents, or I get to work with moms or expectant moms, and get to work with other ladies. So it's been a good experience so far, and I thank you for your prayers and your well wishes when I was going through the process of trying to decide what to do. So I feel like God provided this job, and it's been going well. So thank you so much. That's part of the reason why it's taken me so long to get back. It's just I'm on a new schedule, and it's been a little bit of a challenge to figure out when is the best time to film. So Sunday afternoons might be that time. So we will see how it goes. So I have a lot to show you because it has been over a month. It's been almost 2 months because I think I last filmed on February 20th, and here we are on the 13th of April. So that's okay. It's just part of it, and sometimes there's long spans between videos, and I hope that I can get on a better schedule, and maybe Sunday afternoons will work. So we will see. So I like to start off my videos with a fully finished item that is older. Maybe I've shown it in past videos, or maybe I've never shown it to you. It might be something that I've made, or might be something that a family member has made that I treasure. And today it's something that I made. It was a freebie given by Wild Iris Snaps, Christina, I think. And it was the little freebie that has the carrots across. And I chose to do it in a little pin pillow. I added a yo-yo, and this is actually a square yo-yo, if you want to call it that. It's got some 4 corners, and then added a button, added some ribbon, and then the rickrack, and did some little French knots in the rickrack, and then also some decorative stitching to stitch it down. And then I had this cute ticking fabric with the carrots on it for the back. And I stuffed it with walnut shells, and it's very cute. This is a little high, but if I break it down, it covers the carrot. I think one time maybe when I showed it, I talked about moving it over here, and that might be the better place for it, and just move it down a little bit. It's a little high, but that's okay. All right, so that was my old FFO. So I have some new FFOs to share with you. These were actually finished as far as the stitching part a while back. It's taken me a while to finally just say, hey, let's finish this. You know, I'm sure you have some of those too. I have some boxes over here that are full of things that still need to be finished. So hopefully I'll get through those. But I don't have one of the patterns. One of the patterns is called Eliza's French Birds. It's by JBW Designs, Miss Judy. And I just loved this pattern. And one day my daughter and I were doing some garage sailing, and I found this box to put it in, and I thought it was going to be perfect, and I didn't have to even change the color of the box or anything. I felt like it was just perfect the way it was. And so this is Eliza's French Birds. It's stitched on, I believe it's called Tropical Stitches 36 count Lily. I believe that's what I used. And all the called for threads that Miss Judy chose. I'll move it a little closer so you can see it. And I just thought this was such a pretty piece, and I'm so excited to have it finished and mounted. So, and then a companion to that pattern is Eliza's Sewing Smalls, and so it's this piece, and then let's see if I can show you without showing you. Actually, I'm not going to be able to show you without showing you. So good thing I have them done, huh? So the box has a lid right here that opens. Okay, so now you're gonna be able to see across my room. All right, and so I took the inside of the box and covered it with some of the same fabrics that I used for backing of my smalls, and then did the pink in the bottom there. And so in here I have this little pin pillow, and it has the counting pins, and these are by Jersey Girl Stitch Co. Just beautiful. And then there's the backing fabric, kind of a real cottagey looking. And then the scissor fob, and the pair of scissors, that's the back. And then a little square, and this could also hold a pair of scissors as well. And in the back. So a lot of fun to finish, and I'm excited to have it finished. I'm so thrilled with how it all turned out, and it fits so nicely in my little box, and it's great to sit by my stitchy chair and be able to use these pretty things. So there you go. And I just thought the detail on the box was really pretty. Like I said, I didn't change any of the colors. Just left it as it was. I thought it was beautiful. The next finish I have is the Saturday Stitchers. About a year ago, maybe a little over a year ago, decided we would stitch a biscornu together and then have a finishing day together. And so we finished a biscornu with the help of April Heirlooms. April helped us. She had done one before, and so she kind of put together a little tutorial for us and walked us through it. We did a Zoom call and all of us got on, and we were able to finish our biscornu. And I have shown you, I believe, the finished pieces of it, but I hadn't shown you the finished design in a biscornu. So I had done Doreen Jones for strawberries, and this is a free pattern, and it's on her Facebook group, and you just go over there and join her Facebook group, and then it's listed in, when you go under photos, she has freebies listed by year, and so you just go through and you could choose what you wanted, and I chose the strawberry. She has other designs too, they're not all biscornus. And so there's the top of it, and I have some counting pins in here, and you can see the side, and then this is the bottom. And I showed it on my Instagram. You may have seen it on there. And I had a friend of mine, Louise, you may have heard me talk about her. Her real name is Wanda, and we call each other Louise. So she calls me Louise, I call her Louise. Anyway, that's the thing. And if you've been here very long, you know that. Anyway, she found this spool for me, and I just put a gingham bow on it, and I said I display it on top of the spool. So I thought it would look pretty. So that was fun. I would definitely make another biscornu. It's not hard to finish at all. I really enjoyed it. And then probably a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, I saw Miss Nicola Parkman was talking about a locket that she received from Jean at the attic, and it had been personalized with her initial, and so I thought I would want to do that, and it was on the 56 count, and it was in red. And anyway, so I finally found a letter out of my Vintage French alphabets book, and I finished my Tim Holtz locket with my letter in there, and I thought it turned out really pretty. This is the back of the locket. So I used Tudor silk to stitch on the 56 count, and like I said, the Vintage French alphabet book. And I've shown that before, but I can grab it real quick. And that's it right here. So it's a bestseller on Instagram, not Instagram, Amazon, because so many people have shown it on their FlossTubes. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then I stitched with my friend Robin, Stitching a Country Mile, I believe, on Instagram, and we chose to stitch Grandma's candy dish. And I don't have my trim on yet. I have it stuffed and ready to put the trim on. And I finished it with a seam in the back. You may, if you watch Kathy Lounsbury, you may have seen her explain that. It's and also Brenda Gervais teaches you how to do that in some of her patterns. So that's how I did it. And then I think what I'm going to use is this vintage rickrack that I found at an estate sale. I'm going to use it on the outside. I think I'm going to use this one. This looks similar. Well, actually, it doesn't look similar to what's in the pattern. What's in the on the pattern, but I have this picked out. I also have this pretty pink, and this pink actually, it actually matches my pink right here. It has a really good match to that. So I may choose that one. So we'll just have to see. But the bunny dish has a really neat, the satin stitches really give it some great texture. And then I've got a little bit of the whisper for the tail. And then the beads. So I enjoyed stitching this with my friend Robin. So she's recently finished hers as well. And then this one has been finished for a while. I did start it, I think before Christmas. I showed it on my Christmas video, and it's Cardinal Ken. And I've got it ready to add the rickrack around. And again, I did the same backing where I just put the two pieces together and ladder stitched it to close. And I have this little tiny perfect red rickrack to go with it. So just need to add that trim as well. So those were my FFOs for this time. So pleased with that. So next I'd like to show you are the stitches that I have completed. They're just not FFO'd. And the first one, I don't have the front of the pattern anymore because I blurred it and I have since returned it. But this is called Evening Shades in the Garden, and it's by Blackbird Design. I did pretty much a complete color conversion. I have it on pink linen, and I did navy instead of black. It's mainly a black with the checkerboard is in black. I decided to do it in like a distressed denim, I believe was the name of the floss. And then used other fibers in my stash. So this is the Blackbird Design Evening Shades in the Garden. And this is on, I think it's a 30 count. I did it over one. It's either 28 or 30 count. I did it over one. So it took a while. It's just very tiny stitching. But I really do like how it came out. Right. And then the other one that I finished, again, I don't have the front of the pattern because it was one that I borrowed through, I believe it's Homespun Needlework group on Facebook. Every now and then they'll say, what's your unicorn chart? And you can say what you have been looking for, trying to find. And I thought I was going to be able to purchase this chart off of Brenda Gervais' website. And I had seen it there maybe a year or so ago, and now I don't see it. And so when that popped up recently, I asked if anybody had Easter Peep that I could borrow. And there was a sweet lady. Her name is Jan, and she was so gracious. She let me borrow her pattern, and I've already sent it back to her. So get a piece of paper so you can see it. And this is Easter Peep, and I need to fully finish him. I'm going to see if I can finish him the way the pattern says. I'm not sure I can, because it's got this wool trim that's scalloped that goes around the edge to make a little pillow. And with the linen that I used, I'm not sure it's going to fit. I did change some colors. I changed the color of the chick, and I think I changed even the flower maybe, but anyway, I was trying to work with what I had in my stash because she had let me borrow the pattern and I wanted to get it back to her. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So cute. So Easter Peep by Brenda Gervais. And then I've been stitching on some Lori Holt stitch cards, and Louise and I have a plan for them. And so I've stitched, this is set, let me show you what the set looks like. This is set P, as in Peter. I'm sewing. And I have finished the sewing machine and the scissors. And then I've also started on the quilt. Little quilt blocks. So they're pretty quick to go. And I do plan on doing the other one, which is the spools down here as well. So right now I'm working on this one, and then I'll do this one. And these were just scraps of linen that I had, and wow, they were perfect to fit on here. And I believe this is it's a 28 count ivory. It's called Quaker cloth, and it was just a scrap that I had. For some reason I had two pieces that were exactly about the same size, so I'm not sure what I made with the larger piece, but anyway, this was perfect to be able to stitch these little cards, and they're just fun, very portable. I've been using them at my lunchtime stitch at work, so that's been great to be able to pull something out that's small that I can make some progress on. And then I also have been stitching again in my vintage here it is, vintage alphabet book, and been making the letter A, just playing around. This was a letter that I used a water lilies Caron, water lilies fabric, and sometimes, or not fabric, floss, and sometimes you just want to see how the floss is going to look on a letter, or how it's going to look in a design. And so I was just playing around with the letter A. And then I did another one, and this time I used, well, I wound up running out of what I started with, and I had to find something close to finish it with, and that's this dark navy A. I started with a color in cotton and found an old tattered flag that was distressed denim, maybe it said. Anyway, it matched close enough that I don't think you could really tell where it starts and where it ends. So anyway, and I think I'm going to, again, I was playing with the letter A, and I have some finishing fabric that I will probably use for like a needle book or something like that. And I believe this is the French General, if I'm remembering. Yes, this is Bleu de France. And so it's a really pretty French General bird fabric. And I thought this looked really good. This is a Lakeside linen, a 28 count Mariner's Compass, I believe. So I think that will look really good with it. Okay, so now I'm up to my whips and my cross stitch. So we're gonna look at Consider the Lilies. And for those of you that don't know, this is what Consider the Lilies looks like. She's a Big Girl by Heartstring Samplery. Really, really large design. And I am using mostly the DMC, but I do have some of the overdyes in here as well, especially the greens, the ones that I wanted to make to be able to see the variegation. I have chosen to use some of those flosses as well. So I keep it in a roll because it's so large. I just want to keep it rolled up and so it doesn't get too wrinkled, and then also it just keeps it clean. This can also be used as a stitchy mat at a retreat. So I have used it that way too. And this is what the inside looks like. And this is a Gracie Larson fabric line by Riley Blake. And these rings you can put floss on. Got a scissor holder over here. It was fun to make. And my progress, I'm coming along, and I'm actually getting close to finishing that tree. So you can see I've done a lot of work on the tree in the middle since we last visited. So I've got the border all the way around. I don't have the lilies all the way around, but I do have the border all the way around. And working on that tree, getting the apples in there and getting the leaves in there. I think I have all the apples in. I'm just now putting all the leaves in to finish that tree. So I'm very pleased. Sometimes I work on it Sunday, sometimes I don't. You know, we stitch what we love, what we're in the mood for, and sometimes on Sundays I choose something else, but I have enjoyed this one. Okay, I need to put this back or I'll have a big mess here at the end. Okay. Next, I worked on Feast of Friendship, and there's a whole group of us working on this, and we have a homework schedule that I did. I was going to say designed, but you know, it just came up with a homework schedule that we could follow that wouldn't be too difficult, so that we could have a completion by August, I believe, of this year. Let's see, make sure I'm telling you right. Yes. So this is Feast of Friendship by Blackbird Designs. Plural. And I have it in my Lori Holt pumpkin bag that I made. And I have my piece on one of my handy rolls. I hope to get those restocked in my Etsy shop soon. And this is my progress. So I've done up through my March homework, and next I'm going for April homework. We have to do the bowl. So I love the roof of the house. It's so pretty. So really been fun to work on with friends. I know Roberta Lyle of the Sable Stitchers is working on it, and my friend Wanda, and my friend Jan and Jananne, and so many others have joined in with us. It's been a pleasure to have that many folks enjoying it. So, and let's see, the color palette, I think I'm working, I didn't tell you the fabric color. Let's see, sometimes I forget all about the fabric colors to tell you. So my fabric color is Fox and Rabbit Eureka. Let me pull it back out so you can see it. That Fox and Rabbit 36 count Eureka. So it has a kind of a buttery tone to it. And then I am using the 4 colors, and all of the colors are either Classic Colorworks or Gentle Arts. For the most part, that's what I'm using. I may have to throw in a DMC or so, but just gorgeous fall colors. Really pretty. So I realize we're about halfway through the stitch along, but if you want the schedule, all you have to do is email me. My email's in the drop down description, and I would be happy to send it to you. You can just use the schedule and start whenever you want. Basically, the schedule just is dividing the pattern into workable sections for each month so that you could have a finish. And so that's just how we did it. Okay, so Santa and his winter friends. This was something I started with Sully Stitches, Tara, when she had the Super Bowl stand-up. I didn't do the animal cracker. I had this piece, and at the time I didn't have any animal crackers, and I had this piece, and I've been wanting to do this Santa, and so I thought, well, I'll join in with that Santa. And so I've worked on him a little bit more, not a whole lot, but working on his hat and his face and beard, or yeah, the hair around his beard, or around his hat. Get it out in a minute. So again, that's a picture just on a flat wall hanging, and then this is the stand-up that I plan to do. So I worked a little bit on that, and then the next piece that I worked on is a Teresa Kogut. Get all this back in. And I have some friends that I'm doing this with, and we are doing the Woodland Santa. And I'm using all the call for, and this is all DMC. And actually, I'm not doing DMC. I am doing, for his red, take that back, I am using Ruby Slipper for the red. So there he is. And so he's coming in along. We've been working on him on the 25th of every month. And this time I forgot, so I had to pull him out on the 26th. Really did get busy. Okay, so I have him going. So I've stitched on quite a few things since I last visited with you, and I enjoy that. But some of these things that I was able to complete, like the Grandma's Candy Dish and the Blackbird design, I was kind of monogamous. I would just stitch on that until I got it finished so that I could get those patterns returned. And then I've been working on this series a long time. If you've been with me for any length of time, even from the beginning, I've been stitching on the Country Cottage Needleworks monthly samplers. And so I'm working on August. And I don't have a lot on this one completed, but we have started. So little pink cows. And this is 32 count beautiful beige. And I'm using all the called for Classic Colorworks that came with the kits. So this might be my next work. I might, when I finish the stitch card, I'll take that to work and use it. It's easy to see pretty much. So When Flowers Bloom, this is the Brenda Gervais, and I pulled this back out. Let's see, I don't have the cover photo for this, but many of you have seen this. And this is my progress. I'm getting there. This is on 40 count. Let's see if I have it written down on my working copy here. Hold on one moment. Mystic Fabrics Necessity. So she makes a fabric that I really like called Everything Else, I believe, Mystic Fabrics. But this one's called Necessity. And it's really pretty. So I still have to, I have the fence that needs to come across here. There's a little bit of the fence right here. I'm still putting the words. There's another house over here and lots of other motifs down here. So still a little ways to go, but it's coming along. So that is When Flowers Bloom. On a Low Branch, I also worked on that. And this is something I've been doing with Kim, the Contented Needle Worker. And I'm not sure where Kim is right now. We'll have to see if I can show you the pattern. It's by Mojo Stitches. On a Low Branch. And let's see if I can tell you if I wrote down the fabric or not. I don't think I did. It is Luminous Fiber Arts, and it is being stitched with Kentucky Bluegrass by Weeks Dye Works. So I'll hold that up. So I have made some more progress on it. And it's been fun. It's one thread over 2 linen threads. And so I'm getting there. Just gonna pull this out again so you can kind of see where else I have to go. I've got all those tail feathers, and then there's a ton of the flowers over here on the other side of the bird that need to be done. It's kind of, I've not been consistent at 1 thread a day. It kind of was supposed to be, I enjoyed having a 1 red thread a day kind of thing. And I had planned on this being like the 1 thread a day, and it just has not worked out. So I do pull it out occasionally and work on it and try to get several threads in. Okay. Next I have Summer Memories. So I've been working on this for a while. These are, this is by Susan Aki. It was put out by It's So Emma Backquarter Shop, and there are multiple cross-stitch designs in this book, and here they are on the back. I've done a variation of this one that's in the book, and then all of the other ones except the only one I haven't finished is this one, and I've gotten the start on it. So I'll show that to you. In fact, I still have my needle in it. So From Sea to Shining Sea, and I'm just putting in the last stitches of the water at the bottom. And then I'll have to fill in the little motifs that are in the whales. I haven't done that yet. But this gingham was a little bit challenging because I started it and you can see how it's crooked. So then I started it again, and it's not as bad. It looks a lot better than the first start. So, and then I can quickly show you the others. So I haven't fully finished them all. I'm going to fully finish them when I get them all done, so I can kind of decide how I want them to all look together. And I'm using the Aurifil thread for the most part. I bought the little box that was recommended, the Summer Memories Aurifil box. So it comes with the 10 spools. And there's been a couple of colors I've had to add to this to make sure I have everything that I need. There's that one. little boat. And then this one. They're all so pretty, and I'm looking forward to getting them all fully finished. And I also, this kind of brings me to my segue of quilts. I also want to make a quilt out of here, and I think I'm leaning toward, I've kind of saved some fabrics, but I think I'm leaning toward, it's called Lazy Afternoon. And that's it right there. Kind of the friendship stars. So I'm kind of leaning toward that one, although I really love the picnic basket one too. Love that one. So we'll see which one I start with. And then once I kind of figure out the quilt, then I'll know of the fabrics that I've saved for this. As far as finishing fabrics, then I'll know what I want to use for the backing of my little pillows. So we'll just have to see on that. Okay, so this brings me to quilting, and I'm going to go through this. If you didn't watch my quilting video, I did my kind of my first one of just quilting, and I went through all of my 25 whips that I would like to work on or finish this year. My goal is to finish them. Work has kind of played into that thing, that goal. And so not sure I'm gonna meet my goal. I'm gonna really try, but it is what it is. So I showed in that video the 25 that I would like to finish. And so now I'm going to show you my progress on that and a few other things that were kind of quilty related. So here we go. So first I'm going to show you something that I've made in the past. So this is an old FFO, and these were a lot of fun. These were just little wall hangings that I put up in my old studio, and I would stick little pins in here to be, you know, like they're a pincushion. And these were just some, it was all the same little pattern. And now you can see the quilting on the back that I did, just with my domestic machine. And then this is a lesson learned. So you can see the background showing through on this. So I should have faced this fabric with something so that it wouldn't show through, but it's okay. Little spools, and again, I just did my own little quilting on that. And then finally, the next one is the sewing machine. Those were fun. And the red ticking, enjoyed that. All right, so let's see. Twister. So this was one of the ones I showed you before. It wasn't completed. And it's called Twister, and it's made with Camille Ross Kelly. Her fabrics, I think it was her and her mom. I think it's Marmalade. And I just decided to do a small border around it and do a kind of a candy stripe around it. And you can actually see the quilting better. I quilted it. You can see the quilting better. I used the Twister as my template to do the quilting. I don't know if you can see how I kind of went in and out, in, out, in, out on each one, and then I would travel. And I think I quilted it this way, so maybe you can see some of the quilting that way. So it's just a little table topper. It's just really, it was fun to do, and I was so excited to have it completed and off my list. And now I'm showing it to you. So there's that one. Next, my hearts. Let's see. So this was all applique parts, hand applique. And I had thought I would big stitch this as far as hand stitching, but with time as short as it is, I decided to just get it done and machine. And there's a lot of errors in this because I noticed that my sashing doesn't really line up. It's just kind of a hot mess, but it's mine, and it could be a granddaughter play quilt or just whatever. But anyway, I'm trying to show it to you all. But and these hearts were all hand appliqued, and then I just stitched around them with a machine and did a heart stitching in the border. So excited to have it done. Fold it in half and show you the bottom of it. So this was early on in my quilting, and since then I would have what I've learned about that is being careful about making sure your sashing lines up. But you know, you just got to learn. Okay, I dropped something, so hold on a minute. Okay, so then I have my yo-yo. I don't know if I showed you this last time, but here's this. This was one that I finished. It was on my list to finish. Got it done, and it just hangs in on my little cart as a decoration. I have a sewing cart behind my machine, and seasonally I'll change these out to decorate. And then this was used as a class that I taught last year at a local quilt shop. And so I made an extra one and showed them how to make the yo-yos and make the tree. And we even stuffed the trunk a little bit to make it stand out a little bit. And this is the back of it, just a fun fabric, and use these little corners to be able to hang it. All right, and then a little project bag that I made. So this was some vintage fabric that I had found at an estate sale. I initially had planned to put these in my Etsy shop. I had made 2 of them, and I was going to put them in my Etsy shop. And then I got to seeing that I hadn't noticed before. It had staining on it, and I just did not realize it. So one became a gift for a friend, and one became mine. And this is an Edita Sitar umbrella pattern. And so I just put that on here and quilted it. And then I made this flower using kind of my own technique, but it's also a clover they actually have a template, kind of like a yo-yo maker, to make these kind of flowers, but you could also hand do them. So I didn't have the template to do it, so I just did it by hand. And then of course put a zipper in for the project bag, and it's just a plain white fabric. And then this is the fabric on the back. So I did that. And Feathered Friends. So Feathered Friends was supposed to be a class at my local quilt shop, and it didn't happen because we didn't have enough. It's called Feathers, and it's by Pattern Basket, and I didn't have enough people show up, or not show up, but sign up, so we had to cancel it. But this was my sample for that, and it's just cute little spring birds and cottage fabrics out of my stash. And then I decided to put them together with the little heart yo-yos, and those are made with a yo-yo maker that's a heart shape. And then did a little silk ribbon in the middle, ran it through their beaks, and tied a little bow and crosshatch quilted. And then used this pretty cottage fabric on the back. To me, this looks like cottages. I mean, I'm just calling it that, but there's that. Fun pattern, very well written. I was hoping I'd get to teach it, but it just didn't work out. Then I have a new project bag, and I haven't listed it yet, but I will be listing it along with these. I'm going to have 2 of these, and so this is the bag and then it will have a matching needle book with it. And these are fabrics from Hobby Lobby, but the designer of the artwork is by Susan Wingate, and she does a lot of calendars. So like this calendar back here on the wall is one of hers, and you'll see a lot of her calendars at Hobby Lobby when they put out calendars at the end of the year for the next year. She has gorgeous artwork. And so I made 2 needle books, and they're each gonna go, I have another bag in the works, and so they'll be sold as a set. And so gotta get the other bag finished, and then I'll get those listed. And then I still have my other Katie Daisy fabrics bags that are coming. And then I saw that Center Street, let's see where I can find, there, Center Street Quilt, I believe is the name of it. The other day, it was last weekend, for a limited time you could get her pattern for baskets, fabric baskets, for free, and then she would put them on her website for, I think it's $6. And the pattern comes with 3 different size baskets, and so I was playing around with the pattern and made some baskets. This is the medium, I think. Might be the small, and this is the medium. Anyway, so they were a lot of fun to make. And the way you construct them, you have leftover squares. And so I thought, I don't want to waste them. So I made little coasters with the squares, or you can sit the basket on there if you wanted to. But yeah, so just didn't want these squares just to go to waste, because not only is it quilt fabric, but it's also interfacing. And so each piece of fabric is faced with interfacing. And so that's a lot to go to waste. And so making a little coaster was perfect. You could even do pot holders if you wanted to. Put some Insul Bright in there and make pot holders. And then I had a little needle book that needed some finishing. I had tried my hand at putting a snap in, and it didn't work. Somehow my snap got messed up or whatever. So then I got to playing with it and thought, I really want to finish this. I don't want it to languish. And so I'm not sure what I put in here in the center. It's been a while since I did this. And then I put little pockets so I can slide a pack of needles in there. And then the wool, there's another little pocket, and then the wool, and then the snaps. So I got it to work. I was able to fix my snap and got it to work, and so I have a cute little needle book. This is one of my most favorite fabrics. I just love that navy fabric with the pinks. Oh, love it. Okay, coming to the end here. So I have a little bit of haul. I have a few things that I got from Market, so I'll show that to you. So decided to get Miss Lily. This is my first cracker, so decided to get her. And I have some of the threads ready to go. And then decided to get the Ladybug Picnic, and I also ordered the fabric, the pomegranate fabric to go with it, so I'm waiting on the fabric. And I have some of the colors for the Ladybug there. And then I really liked this idea from Liz Matthews, the little labels. They're called finishing patches. And I loved this idea, and so I decided to purchase these so that I can personalize some of my little pillows if I give them away, or if it's a needle book or something like that. So I thought that was a great idea. I also purchased the cookbook that they do at Needlework Market, and so looking forward to using that. Some other purchases, went on a little quilt retreat, little road trip, I guess you could say, to a local quilt shop I'd been to before, but did find this beautiful piece of French general fabric and decided to purchase it. Not sure what I'll use it for, but I just thought it was beautiful, and it was at a really, really great price. So decided to get that. It is from, let's see if it says what. This is Altier de France. Altier. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I can show you the, I'm probably saying it very wrong. But anyway, it's just a beautiful piece of fabric, and I thought it would be fun to have in the stash for French general and for finishing. Who knows what I'll do. And then I don't really have a local LNS as far as a cross stitch store. And recently, Stitch Therapy used to be down in Houston, and now she's moved to Lexington. And so I had the opportunity a couple of Fridays ago to go and visit her store. And so that was a lot of fun, and was able to look at thread, and it's always nice when you can look at things in person. And purchased a couple of things. I had been looking for this chart for a while. This is the Anne of Green Gables by JBW Designs, Miss Judy. So I was excited to find that. And then So You by my friend Annie at the Proper Stitcher. And got some of the floss for that. So thought that was just so cute. And then she had like a little giveaway. You could choose an egg, and there would be a little prize in there. And mine was to choose any of the Mill Hill smalls that she had, the small kits that she had. And I chose the little Santa in the snow globe. So it's a full kit that has everything in it to make that ornament. So I was excited about that. So yeah, just that was fun to be able to have a local LNS and to visit with her. And hoping that I get to visit again. I know my group, the Cumberland Stitchers, are going to try to go this coming Saturday, but I'm not able to go this Saturday. But I hope to visit again. And my parents live in Lexington, so it'll probably work out, and that I'll get to visit one day again. Stitchy kindness from my friend Kathy and Pete at Pete's BeeCuzz. She sent me a hank of Mo's silk in the color Barbie. Isn't that beautiful? And a frill spool. So this is used with the hands-on design, not hands-on design, heart and hand frills that go with the tiny towns. So beautiful spool. It matches one of my other spools that I received for Christmas. This one up here that you see behind me. And so thank you so much, Kathy. That was so sweet of you. And I do have a giveaway from last time. I want to share that with you. This was for the Antique Rooster sampler, and the winner is Kathy Simon, I believe is how you say it, and the number is 6678. And so Kathy, I have an email in the drop down box, so if you're watching and you want to receive this, I can mail it to you, and you just send me an email and tell me your mailing address. And that was fun. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I know I've kind of run through some things. Hopefully I can do this on a monthly schedule again. I really was hoping to do cross stitch in one video and quilting in another, and we may be able to do that depending on my Sundays and how that goes. I really appreciate you joining me. I want to encourage you that our kindness to one another and our love towards one another just speaks volumes, and a smile can go a long way. So I hope that things are going well for you, and that you are enjoying the spring weather, that it's beautiful, that things blooming helps us remember the renewal of life. And so I just pray that you would rest in that and enjoy your stitching, enjoy whatever you're creating. I love your comments, so I hope you'll drop me a comment if you have heard of, if you like my video and you can share it. I would love that. I would love to grow my channel and reach 2,000 subscribers. That would be great, and we could have a big giveaway for that. And it's been great to visit with you today. Thank you for spending time with me, and take